Good morning, students. So today we shall study about the Indian climate, the third chapter of geography, that is Indian climate. So see, India has tropical monsoon climate, type of climate. This is because a greater part of India lies in the tropical zone and its climate is greater influenced by the monsoon winds. So here India, it lies in a tropical zone. Understood? India lies in tropical zone. So the climate of India is it is known as tropical monsoon type of climate India has. This is because India's greater part. Understood? If you see in first chapter, then you will come to know that India's greater part, it lies in a tropical zone. So India has this type of climate, that is monsoon, tropical monsoon type of climate. Why? Because monsoon winds blow in this climate. Next, see, the word monsoon is derived from an Arabic word mawsim. Understood? The word this monsoon, it is derived from the Arabic word mawsim. The main factors which influence on the climate of India are location, water bodies, relief features and monsoon winds. So the climate of India varies from one region to another and from season to season. So here the relief features, the valleys, the rivers and the vegetation, that is vegetation means the forest and all. Relief features means everything. It might be climate, it might be mountains, rivers, valleys, glaciers and all. That all comes in relief features. So here see, India is highly influenced by these monsoon winds. So what happened due to this all, that is relief features, water bodies, vegetation and all, India has a different type of climate in different regions. And so today we shall study about different climates, where all you see such type of climates. And it is based on seasons also. And so different seasons we face a different type of climate. So see, climatic seasons. The climate of India according to the meteorological department of India can be divided into 4 seasons. According to meteorological department, India is divided into 4 seasons. The first one is the winter season, the second one is the summer season, the third one is the rainy season and the fourth is the retreating monsoon season. Understood? Meteorological department means those who study about atmosphere, that is known as meteorology. So according to them, according to meteorology, the winter season starts from December to February. Next comes the summer season, it is from March to May. Next is rainy season, that is from June to September, until mid of September. Next is retreating monsoon season, that is from mid-September to November. Retreating means the strength of this monsoon winds, it decreases. Understood? So it is known as retreating monsoon seasons. So in that first one here, the winter season, that is from December to February, we see winter season. During this season, the rays of the sun fall vertically over the southern hemisphere. Understood? So here if you see India, the southern hemisphere, there what happens, the sun rays are vertical. Understood? India gets oblique rays of the sun, hence the temperature and humidity are low and the sky is clear. Understood? The sun rays are vertical on the southern hemisphere and India, it gets oblique rays. Oblique rays means direct sun rays, they don't fall on India. Understood? Slantly they fall on India. So only what happened, the temperature in India at that time, especially in South India, it is less. And here the atmosphere, how it will be? Humidity will be less. If there is more humidity, what will happen? Moisture in the atmosphere will be more. So humidity is less and sky is clear. Means there will be no clouds, rain and all. Sky will be clear, humidity will be less and temperature also will be less. It is cool in the north and warm in the south. So compared in India, compared to the, if you compare north and south, north it is bit cool and south is bit warm. if we compare to north. January is the coldest month. The hilly areas of Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh record the lowest temperature. Understood? So see here the hilly areas. That is Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. First of all, in north there is more cold, and again in these hilly regions, that is Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, what happens here? Again the temperature will be less. It will be more cold there. The Dras near Kargil has recorded the lowest temperature, that is -4 degrees Celsius. Dew and fogs are common. You might have seen fog. Understood? How it will be? Whatever if we see in the morning and all, it will be not clear. Something like some smoky, it will be there. That is known as fog. Understood? So here, dew. Dew means like raindrops. What happens? There is snowfall. So those dew and fog will be common in those all areas, and temperature in Dras, it is below 0 degrees Celsius. That is up till -4 degrees. There is heavy snowfall in the mountain areas. India gets only 2% of its annual rainfall during the winter. Understood? In hilly areas and all, what happens? There is heavy snowfall. Understood? There is heavy snowfall, and also in the annual rainfall, that region of India, it gets only 2% of rain. Understood? Means very less amount of rain is there in those areas, where especially in the north areas where the snowfall is poor. So in winter season only 2% of rainfall we get. Among 100% only 2%. Understood? So here what happens? The sun rays, they fall vertical on the southern hemisphere, and so the sun rays, they fall oblique on India. And compared to north and south, if you compare, the north temperature is less compared to the south. And Dras, the place near Kargil, that it has recorded very less temperature. So see here, for multiple choice, many times they have asked a question. Applied question they will ask. They will give the statement. This kind of temperature it is. The sun rays will fall in this way. So which kind of season it is? They will give 4 options to you. You should choose any one. So see here, next is the summer season. Summer season is from March to May. So see here, during this season the sun rays fall vertically over the northern hemisphere. So in winter season the sun rays they fall vertically on the southern hemisphere, but in this summer season the sun rays, they fall vertically on the northern hemisphere. Hence the temperature is high in India. It is hot, dry and sultry. Sultry means humid. More humidity will be there during this season. The highest recorded temperature is 49.4 degrees Celsius at Ganganagar in Rajasthan. So here the highest recorded temperature. Understood? In summer season the highest temperature is at Ganganagar. It is 49.4 degrees Celsius. Convectional rain occurs locally in some parts of the country. So here more humidity will be there. And how it will be? It will be dry, hot and all. So what happens during summer season? These convectional rainfalls occur. So what is convectional rainfall? Due to evaporation, what happens? The water, it gets precipitated, and when that precipitation it is cooled down, and the clouds they cool down, and again the water that falls on the earth, that is only known as convectional rainfall. So during summer season these convectional rainfalls are common, and they are called in different areas, they are called by different names. So here it is known as Andhis in Uttar Pradesh. Understood? This convectional rainfall in Uttar Pradesh, they are called as Andhis. So it is very important. You should remember where, what it is called, in which region, what are the names of this convectional rainfall. Kala Baisakhi is in West Bengal, mango showers in Kerala, as it helps the mango crop, and coffee blossoms in Karnataka. As it is beneficial to the coffee crop, India receives only 10% of its annual rainfall during summer. Understood? So it is called as Andhis in Uttar Pradesh, Kala Baisakhis in West Bengal, mango showers in Kerala, and coffee blossoms in Karnataka. Understood? It is called with different names in different places. So in this summer season, only 10% of rainfall we receive throughout this season. Understood? India gets 10% of rainfall. So here you should remember how the climate will be during this season, how the sun rays are, what will be the temperature and all you should remember. Next, see the rainy season. So this rainy season is important. Many a times they have asked. They have asked about southwest monsoons or directly rainy season. So another name for rainy season is the southwest monsoons. So here it is also known as the southwest monsoon season. Since the temperature rises by the end of summer season, a low pressure area is developed over central India. So here this rainy season is also called as a southwest monsoon. Here what happens, see, the temperature, as in summer the temperature rises. Understood? In summer there will be more temperature. Understood? As the temperature rises, automatically what will happen? There will be low pressure area. Understood? Where the temperature will be more, pressure will be less. They will be opposite. Where the temperature is less, pressure will be more. So here what happens? Temperature will be more in summer area, summer season, and the pressure will become low, especially where in central India. This will happen. On the other hand, there is high pressure over the Indian Ocean. So see here, the Indian Ocean, what will happen here? There will be high pressure in Indian Ocean. Hence, the moisture-laden winds blow from the southwest towards India. They bring rainfall to different parts of country. About 75% of the rainfall causes during this season. So see here, in central India there will be low pressure, and on the Indian Ocean, those all regions, what will be? The pressure will be high. So here what happens? The winds, they will blow towards the low pressure area. Where the pressure is less, the winds, they will blow in that direction. While blowing, what happens? They carry clouds. Understood? They carry water with them and they blow. By this what will happen? The southwest area gets heavy rainfall during this season. That is about 75% of rainfall we get. Understood? In rainy season, that is in southwest monsoon. So only it is called as a southwest monsoons. The winds blow in that direction. The other two branches of southwest monsoons are, see here it is divided into two branches, southwest monsoon. The other two are the Arabian Sea branch and the Bay of Bengal branch. Understood? The Arabian Sea branch and the Bay of Bengal. Here also what will happen? In central India the pressure will be more, and here on the sea bodies or on the water bodies the pressure will be less. So here what will happen? The winds, they will blow in from low pressure area to high pressure area. The Arabian Sea branch strikes the Western Ghats and causes heavy rainfall to the western side of the Western Ghats. Understood? So see here, if there Western Ghats are there, here the winds will blow, and the western part of the Western Ghats, here the winds while blowing, what happened? They carry rainfall with them. Here the western part of Western Ghats get a heavy rainfall compared to the eastern part. The rainfall decreases towards the eastern slopes of the Western Ghats, and it lies in the rain shadow area. So here this western parts, it gets heavy rainfall. Why? Because when the winds, they strike these mountains, this region gets a heavy rainfall compared to the eastern part of the Western Ghats. Understood? So here western part gets more rainfall compared to the eastern part. So eastern part is called as rain shadow area. Next, the Bay of Bengal branch causes heavy rainfall when it strikes against the hills of Meghalaya and Assam. So here what happens? See, Meghalaya and Assam, there what happens? When the wind blows from Bay of Bengal to in the eastern direction, there what happens? Meghalaya and Assam, there it strikes. That wind is stopped there and it carries clouds, it carries water with them, and there what happens? Heavy rainfall, those all regions get. The heaviest rainfall occurs at Mosindram in Meghalaya. The rainfall decreases towards the northwest. Understood? As the winds, see here if it is there, as the winds, they go, here they strike, here there is heavy rainfall, and that only winds when they go towards northwest region, there what happens? Here only maximum rainfall is caused, and when they move further, there what happened, the water content will be less and it causes very less amount of rainfall. Understood? So here as it goes forward, that is in northwest direction, when it comes here, the rainfall is very less in these regions. Understood? So here it is very important, see. So southwest monsoon season. Understood? It first from Indian Ocean it carries rain or clouds, and there what happened, it causes rainfall, and again it is divided into two branches. One is Bay of Bengal branch and another one is Arabian Sea branch. Due to Arabian Sea, what happens, the rainfall causes heavy rainfall in the Western Ghats, that too western area of Western Ghats, and here the wind which blows from Bay of Bengal, it causes heavy rainfall in Assam region, that is in Mawsim. Understood? So it is very important regarding exam. If they ask any question regarding this, how the rainfall is caused, or write about rainy season, or write about southwest monsoons, point wise you have to mention this all thing. You have to write that all. Next, the retreating monsoon season. So here, in early October, due to decrease of temperature, low pressure area is gradually replaced by high pressure over the land mass. So see here, retreating monsoon season. So this retreating monsoon season is also called as northeast monsoon season. So here what happens, the strength of this monsoon winds, understood, the strength of this monsoon winds, it decreases, it becomes less. So only it is called as retreating monsoon season. So this starts from early October. So here what happens, see, in early October, due to decrease of temperature, low pressure area is gradually replaced by high pressure area over the land mass. So in retreating monsoon, what happens, the temperature will be less. When the temperature will be less, automatically what will happen, the pressure will be high. Already I said you, temperature and pressure, they are opposite. If the temperature is high, pressure will be low. If pressure is high, temperature will be low. So here what happens, when the temperature is high, when there is less sunrise, means the strength it decreases, the temperature decreases, automatically what will happen, the pressure on the land masses, it will be increased. When the pressure will be increased over the land mass, automatically what will happen, here on the water bodies where the pressure is low, there again what happens, the wind blows. So here a low pressure area is developed over the Bay of Bengal. As a result, the southwest monsoon starts to retreating and it is blowing from northeast. Understood? From northeast it starts blowing. Why? Because here what happens, the pressure is high, temperature is low, and here what happens, the temperature is high, pressure is low. So here what will happen, the winds blow in northeast direction. Hence, this season is also known as northeast monsoon season. It is a season of unsettled weather conditions. In India, receives only 13% of its annual rainfall during this season. Understood? So here, in this season, what happens? Unsettled weather condition means suddenly the weather changes. Understood? In some regions, what happened? Rainfall may occur, and in some region the temperature will be very less. Understood? Cyclones may occur. So that all thing will happen here. And about 13% of annual rainfall we get in this season, that is in northeast monsoons or retreating monsoon season. The coast of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha get rainfall during this season. So the coastal regions, they get rainfall during this season. Tropical cyclones frequently occur in Bay of Bengal due to this season and cause some damage along the east coast. So see here what happens along east coast, which all places are there. Here cyclones always appear. You might have seen, due to cyclone what will happen, 3 days, 5 days, like this the temperature, the weather will be entirely changed. And so sometimes continued rainfall will be there. We all have faced that kind of situation. So here what happens, this all happens because of this northeast monsoons. Understood? So here some applied question they had asked. Tropical cyclones appear in these all regions, something they had asked like that. So you should read it thoroughly and you should understand it. Next here, distribution of rainfall. On the basis of amount of rainfall, India can be divided into 3 broad zones. So here in India, which area get how much rainfalls? Based on that, it can be divided into 3 zones. So first one is areas with low rainfall. Understood? It can be divided into 3 zones. In that first one is areas with low rainfall, less than 50 centimeters. Low rainfall means the areas which get less than 50 centimeters are called as areas of low rainfall. It includes Western Kutch. So here if you see this map, India map, here they have drew it and they have some vertical lines, horizontal lines they have drawn. By that you will come to know that which area it is. Understood? So here which area gets how much centimeters, they have differentiated there by drawing the lines. So if you see that map, you can come to know. Includes Western Kutch, the Thar desert of Rajasthan and its adjoining areas like Western Punjab, Haryana and Gujarat. North of Jaskar range and the rain shadow areas of the Western Ghats. Rain shadow area means the eastern part of Western Ghats. Ruili in Jaisalmer of Rajasthan receives least amount of rainfall, that is 8.3 centimeters, and is the driest place in India. Ruili of Rajasthan, it gets very less rainfall and it is called as the driest place in India. Next is areas with medium rainfall, that is 50 to 100 centimeters. Understood? So few areas are there which get very less rainfall. Sorry, which get medium rainfall. Understood? Less means below 50, medium means from 100 to 50. In between 100 and 50, whatever the rainfall is received, that is known as the medium, the areas of medium rainfall. It is a long belt extending from North Punjab to Cape of Kanyakumari. It is broader in the north and narrower in the peninsular India between the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. So here you can see the horizontal lines are the small lines they have drawn. So here by those all areas they come under the medium rainfall. Next, areas with heavy rainfall. Understood? So here the areas are there which receive more rainfall, that is heavy rainfall. It is found in 4 separate belts. So here see these areas which receive with the areas which receive more rainfall, that is above 100 centimeters. Understood? So these are different parts are there in India. They have again 4 separate belts. One is a narrow belt in Western Ghats. So here in Western Ghats, the black shaded area is there, no? That one, that is western part of Western Ghats. A belt from Jammu Hills through Himachal Pradesh, Northern Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. So these all regions are there. Next, northeastern India, Mawsynram located in this zone gets the heaviest rainfall. So here in northeast regions, that is Mawsynram, it gets the highest rainfall. West coast and western side of Western Ghats, etc. Understood? West coast. This west coast, why? Because Western Ghats, western part, it also gets heavy rainfall. Next, fill in the blanks here. First one, India has dash type of climate. Tropical monsoon type of climate. So answer is tropical monsoon. Next, second one, in India, Mawsynram receives the highest rainfall. Understood? Mawsynram is the place where India receives highest rainfall. In India, dash has recorded the lowest temperature. So where it is? Dras, D-R-A-S, Dras near Kargil, has recorded the lowest temperature. The coldest month of India is January. Understood? Next question answers. Which factors influence the climate of India? See here, which factors means you should write page number 106. There, you know this is there, say. Below you know this, after you know this, there is a para. That you should write. The main factors which influence on the climate of India are location, water bodies, relief features and monsoon winds. That is the answer. Next, which are the important seasons of India? Understood? So which are the important seasons means you should write this here climatic seasons. There climatic seasons, there you should write the 4 seasons. Here from question you should write the important seasons of India are the winter season December to February, the summer season March to May, the rainy season June to mid-September, and the 4th one is the retreating monsoon season mid-September to November. These are 4 seasons you should write. Next, third one, explain the process of the southwest monsoons. So the rainy season is there now, that full para, all the 2 paras. Here the rainy season is there now, page number 107, page number 107, second line. Since the temperature rises by the end of summer season, a low pressure area is developed. From there you should start and up till the next paras here, rain shadow area. Up till there you should write. Make points and write. Make points and write. Next here, explain the weather conditions in the summer season. Weather condition in summer season means page number 107, the summer season is there no? That full para you should write. During this season means during summer season, the sun rays fall vertically. From there you should start and up till that last line. That is 10% of its annual rainfall during summer. That full para you should write. Next, mention the areas with low rainfall in India. Understood? So here low rainfall means areas which get less rainfall, that is less than 50 centimeters. So here page number 108, that areas with low rainfall is there now in that second line. Here it includes western Kutch, the Thar desert of Rajasthan and its adjoining areas like western Punjab, Haryana and Gujarat, north of Jaskar range and the rain shadow area of the western Ghats. Roili in Jaisalmer of Rajasthan it receives least amount of rainfall, that is 8.3 centimeters, and is the driest place in India. So much you should write. So again today we shall start next lesson, that is Indian soils. Indian soils. Here Indian soils. Indian soils. See, first of all its meaning and importance. See, soil is the thin layer. Already you know what is soil. The topmost layer of the soil. The topmost layer of the soil. That is the surface layer of the soil. That is known as that layer of the earth. That is known as soil. So the topmost layer on the surface of the earth is known as soil. We all see when wind blows, at that time it carries soil particles with it. When rainfall comes or water flows with that, also what happens, the top layer of the soil, that earth is washed up. That is, it carries soil particles with it. So here first of all meaning and importance. Soil is the thin surface layer of the earth comprising of closely intermixed minerals and organic substances. It is a very important natural resource of India because agriculture is the main occupation of the people. Agricultural production is basically dependent on the fertility of the soil. So see here, soil, it is a natural resource of our country. Understood? So here naturally we get it. So soil, it doesn't only carries mud but also it carries many minerals, many organic substances in it. To grow any plants, crops and all, soil is very much necessary or important for us or for agriculture. Understood? For agriculture, soil is very much important. So without soil, proper soil, we can't do cultivation and all. So soil is very important especially for agriculture. Soil formation of India is mainly related to the parent rock, relief climate and natural vegetation. So there is a wide variety of soils in India. Understood? So this here, soil formation. How soil is formed? From the parent rocks. A big rock is there due to what happened, the natural vegetations due to climate. And due to rain, due to wind and all, what happened? Those rocks, it breaks into soil particles. Understood? It breaks into small rocks, and later on what happens? After many years, that rock it converts itself into soil. So due to this, this process is a very long process. It requires many years. So after that only what will happen? The soil is formed. So for the formation of the soil, what are important here? Parent rock, relief features, climate, vegetation. These all are important. So next here, types of soils. So here there are different types of soil. There are mainly 6 types. So first one is alluvial soil, black soil, red soil, laterite soil, desert soil and mountain soil. So first one here, alluvial soil. The soil that are composed of alluvium and are called alluvial soil. They are formed from the sediments deposited by the rivers as in the Indo-Gangetic plain and by the sea waves in the coastal plains. So already in previous chapter you have studied. While studying the second chapter, that is Indian physiography, there we have studied, understood, where the alluvial soil is there, where there are more rivers. Those rivers, what they do? They carry this fertile soil and they deposit, understood, along the coastal regions in northern Great Plains and all. There they bring that soil. So alluvial soil is a fertile soil. It is very good for agriculture and all. Alluvial soil, the very extensive and very important in India. They contribute greatly to the development of agriculture in the country. They cover an area of about 15 lakh kilometers square. The main crops grown on this type of soils are wheat, paddy, sugarcane, cotton, jute, potato and vegetables. So here alluvial soil is very important for agriculture and also it is a fertile soil. So in India, it is about 15 lakh square kilometers. This alluvial soil is there. And what all is grown in alluvial soil? Wheat, paddy, sugarcane, cotton, jute, potato and vegetables. These all are grown in alluvial soil. Next, second one is the black soil. This soil is also known as Reger and black cotton soil, as they are best suited for cotton cultivation. So here this black soil, the name itself tells. The black color which soil will be, that is called as black soil. The another name for this black soil is Reger soil and also cotton, black cotton soil. So why it is called black cotton? Because in this black soil, cotton grows very nicely. Cultivation of cotton will be very nicely done. So it is called as black cotton soil. They are derived from the basalt rock. So this black soil, how it is got? From basalt rock. Due to continuous processing of this basalt rock, we get black soil. So they are dark grey to black in color. These basalt rocks, they are also black in color. So the soil formed from this basalt rocks, it is also black or grey in color with high clay content. They are highly retentive of moisture and extremely compact. They are best suited for the cultivation of cotton, sugarcane, jawar, maize, pulses, wheat and chilies. So here this soil is clay type. Understood? Clay means very soft and it absorbs, it has a capacity of absorbing more water in it. So it is called as it highly retains the moisture. Understood? It doesn't give out water. How much it wants, it will absorb the water. Understood? So here it has high retention capacity. And here see, in this soil, cotton, sugarcane, jawar, maize, wheat, pulses and chilies are grown well. Black soils are largely found in the Deccan basalt trap. Deccan plateau areas there, no. There we get this black soil. Including Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, parts of Telangana, northern part of Karnataka, parts of Gujarat and Tamil Nadu. So in these all regions we get this black soil. They occupy about 5.46 lakh square kilometers in India. And so throughout India the black soil is 5.46 lakh square kilometers. Next is red soil. They are formed from the weathering of granite, igneous and other crystalline rocks. So here the name itself tells red soil. So it is red in color, and it is this red soil is got from these rocks here, granite and igneous rocks and other crystalline rocks. The color of this soil is generally red or reddish brown. So it is in red in color or reddish brown. They are more sandy and less clayey, so they do not retain moisture. Understood? Here what happens? It is more sandy. Sandy means the sand, it doesn't absorb water. If in a sand, if you pour water, what will happen? The water as it is, it comes down. Understood? But in black soil, if you put one glass water, it can absorb that water. It has that much capacity. But in red soil, what happens? It is less clayey and more sandy. Means the absorption capacity of water is very less. So it has less retention capacity. It doesn't retain moisture more. They occur a vast area of about 5.2 lakh square kilometers. So this red soil throughout India, it is 5.2 lakh square kilometers. These soils are spread extensively in Tamil Nadu. They are also found in southern Karnataka, parts of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Kerala, Goa, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Nagaland, West Bengal, etc. So in India, in these all regions, you can find this red soil. Red soils are ideal for the cultivation of ragi, millets, groundnuts, tobacco and potato. Understood? So this red soil, it is best suited for these all crops: ragi, potato, tobacco, groundnuts, millets. A variety of crops can grow in these soils if there are irrigation facilities. Understood? If in this red soil irrigation facilities are there, still more variety of crops can be grown. Next is laterite soils. So here laterite soils. These soils are formed in tropical areas under the condition of high temperature and rainfall. This laterite soil, what happens? Where it will be more? Where there is more temperature and rainfall. These soils are cover an area of 2.48 lakh square kilometers. So see here, this soil, laterite soil, it is 2.48 lakh square kilometers. They are mainly found in the uplands of Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, the Chota Nagpur Plateau, Meghalaya Plateau, the Rajmahal Hills, Vindhyas and Satpuras. So these all are the mountainy areas, these all are the hilly regions. So here the topmost layer is there, there you find this kind of soil, that is laterite soil. Meghalaya Plateau, the Rajmahal Hills, Vindhyas and Satpuras, they are leached soils, not fertile and are of limited use for agriculture. Crops like cashew, rubber, tea, coffee and paddy can be grown in these soils. So here they are leached soils. Leached means they don't have more fertility in them. So that is not fertile soil. Unfertile soil it will be. So it is called as leached soil, and they are washed away. If wind blows heavily, if there is heavy rainfall, they are washed away, and here they are unfertile. So it is called as leached soil. So how it is on hilly areas, it will be more. So it is well grown for the plantation crops like tea, coffee, paddy, rubber and all. Next is desert soil. So here the name itself tells desert soil. Desert soil means in desert regions what the sandy small particles will be there. That kind of soil is known as desert soil. These soils are formed under desert and semi-desert condition. They are largely found in the northwestern part of India, that is a major parts of Rajasthan, southern Haryana, Punjab and the northern part of Gujarat. Understood? So where all the temperature is very high, where all the desert areas are there what happened? We get this kind of soil, especially in the northwestern part of India, like Rajasthan and southern Haryana, Punjab and the northern part of Gujarat. They are fairly friable, have a high content of soluble salt. They are sandy and low in moisture and humus. Understood? They are fairly friable. Means here now mud. How weak it will be? It will be in the fine powder and all. If you touch mud and if you touch soil particles and understood? The fine powder will be there. But this desert soil, it will be, the particles will be very bigger. Understood? It cannot be reduced into smaller particles. And here what happens? It is more salty. It contains more soluble salts in it. This kind of soil. And here it doesn't retain any moisture in it. Understood? It cannot hold water in it. If you put water, the water will pass away from that. But it can't hold water or humus in it. These are not suitable for the cultivation of many crops. Some crops can be grown where irrigation facilities are available. They occupy about 1.42 lakh square kilometers. You see here, this kind of sandy soil will be there. It cannot contain more water. So what will happen? Here agricultural cultivation is very difficult. In some areas you can do agriculture, but where the irrigation facilities are very easily available, where proper irrigation facilities are there only what will happen? Agriculture will be possible. And 1.42 lakh square kilometers it occupies. Next is the mountain soils. So here the name itself tells. In mountain areas what all soil we get, that is called as mountain soil. So here mountain soils. These soils are mainly found on the slopes of mountains and hills covered by forests. They are mostly found due to the decomposition of organic matter. Hence they are rich in humus and are fertile. So see here, on the slopes of the mountains, understood? On the slopes of the mountain, what all soil you get, that is called as mountain soil. So see here, this mountain soil, how they are formed? They are formed by the decomposition of organic matter. So when the organic matter that is decomposed, here what happens? In this, it is rich in humus. It is a very fertile soil. So here they are useful for plantation crops. This mountain soil, it is useful for plantation crops. Example, tea, coffee and fruits. They are largely found in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Manipur states and along the western Ghats. These soils cover an area of 2.85 lakh square kilometer. Understood? So these all areas, see where it is? In Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Manipur states along the western Ghats, and it is about 2.85 lakh square kilometers. Next is soil erosion. So everyone know what is soil erosion? Already have studied. The losing of the top layer of the earth, understood, of the soil, that is only known as soil erosion. So here soil erosion refers to the removal of topsoil by natural agents. The rivers, glaciers, winds, sea waves, etc. remove the top layer of fertile soil and deplete the fertility of the soil. Soil erosion is one of the important problems in India. So here, the removing of the top layer of the soil by natural agents. It might be a rain, wind, water, sea waves, anything it might be. Due to that, whatever the top layer of the soil is lost, that is only called as soil erosion. Causes of soil erosion. See here, the main causes of soil erosion are deforestation, overgrazing, shifting cultivation, faulty methods of cultivation, use of topsoil for making brick tiles, etc. So here in this chapter, this soil erosion, causes for soil erosion, effects of soil erosion and conservation of soil erosion, this all is very important. Many times they have asked a question. And also here this 6 types of soils are there. In that also applied question they have asked. If it is this kind of soil, what crops you can grow? They will ask, they will give option or they will ask for 1 mark. You should write. So see here, the causes for soil erosion. What are the causes for soil erosion? See, the main causes of soil erosion are deforestation. Deforestation means cutting of the trees. That is known as deforestation. Next, overgrazing. Some animals, they are grazed continuously. Understood? Simply they are grazed. By this what will happen? They will, the grass or whatever the plants are there, they pluck that and the roots they come out. By this the soil will be loosened, and when the wind blows, the soil is lost. Next, shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation means in one area the cultivation they do, and after a few years again they go to different area. There again they do the cultivation. By this what will happen? The soil, the earlier where they had cultivated, the soil it loses its fertility, and that soil it becomes waste. Next, faulty methods of cultivation. Proper cultivation should be done in agriculture. Faulty methods means unnecessarily different methods should not be used, so that the soil particle will lose its fertility. Next, use of topsoil for making bricks, tiles, etc. Understood? For making of tiles, bricks and all, this topsoil is used now. That is called that. For that also we use the top layer of the soil. Next, effects of soil erosion. What all will happen due to soil erosion? The important effects of soil erosion are loss of soil fertility and fall in agriculture productivity. When the top layer of the soil is lost, at that time what will happen? Loss of soil fertility. When the soil is lost, automatically what will happen? The fertile soil will be go away, and there will be less agriculture produce. Next, it leads to silting and floods. Change of the course of rivers and reduction of capacity of the reservoirs. Silting means, see, if in a tank or anywhere if you deposit the water continuously for 2 to 3 months and all, you can see mud will be deposited at the bottom of that water. That is only known as silting. When the mud will be deposited where we don't need, their mud will be deposited, what will happen? The capacity of that tank will become less. Same thing happens with the rivers. When in the river bed the mud will be deposited, the river what will happen? It will expand. When due to expansion what will happen? The floods may occur and the direction of the river course will be changed. And also it reduces the capacity of the reservoirs. In dams and all, the reservoirs will be there where the water is kept in stock. Understood? The water is kept there. So due to the deposition of the mud and all, due to silting and all, what will happen? The capacity of that reservoir will be decreased. Next, here groundwater level is lowered and there is decrease in soil moisture. Ground level water means the borewells and all, what all we dig, wells and all, that groundwater level also decreases. Why? Because if soil is there, it absorbs the water and it passes up till the up till the ground level it reaches. If the soil only is not there, what will happen? It can't absorb water and the water just it flows away. So next, vegetation covers, dries up and drought increases. When the production will be less, agriculture production will be less, the vegetation, that is the plant life will be less, automatically what will happen? There will be more drought. Understood? The rainfall will be less and drought will be more. Economy as a whole suffers a great setback. Understood? By this what will happen? The economy of our country will be decreased. Next, conservation of soil. Conservation of soil means how we can protect. Understood? How we can conserve our soil. See, that protection of soil from erosion and prevention of fertility of the soil is called soil conservation. Protection of soil. Whatever the soil is there, whatever it is, erosion is going on, protection of that soil, and also protecting its fertility, that is only known as soil conservation. Several measures are adopted for conserving the soil. They are, so what are the methods here? It is also important. Afforestation and reforestation. Afforestation is planting of more trees. Planting of more trees. Planting of more trees, that is known as afforestation. And reforestation is replanting the trees. Next, controlled overgrazing. Overgrazing should be stopped. It should be controlled. Next, counter farming. The slopes where mountains and all will be there, what happened? Horizontally against that mountain you should do cultivation, you should do farming, so that the soil it will not easily come down. Next, construction of check dams. Understood? The dams, the water where it flows, that check dams should be built. By this what will happen? It will not carry soil particles with it. Understood? The soil will be deposited, later on it will be removed out. Next, counter bunding. Counter bunding means building bunds. Understood? Like compound and all around the fields and all it is built, so that if wind comes, the soil it doesn't blows away easily. Next, gully control and bench terracing. Gully control means along the drainage and all, whatever the soil it is eroded, that should be removed out continuously. And so why? Because the draining capacity in the drainage and all, the water capacity will be decreased. So that all should be done in valleys, rivers and all. And next, bench terracing. Bench terracing means along the slopes, there what you should do? You should do the cultivation of crops like plantation crops, tea, coffee and all, those should be cultivated. There is an urgent need to conserve soil under the 5-year plans. Much importance should be given for this aspect. So 5-year plan means what all the government it does. Understood? To again further improve our country, to improve the economy of our country, in that this erosion of the soil, it should be, or conservation of the soil, more importance should be given to this, and the soil should be conserved. So this much here is there. Here the Indian soils, the lesson is finished. Fill the blanks and question answers I shall give in the next video. So thank you students.